I wanted to address something I saw in one of my comments, and it was something about how Akai became a brand that wasn't of quality standard anymore after the in-music purchase. Now, I'm not arguing any of that because it all depends on what you mean by quality. That's all relative. But you have to remember, around the time that in-music bought Akai, Akai was failing. And when I say they were failing, they weren't failing in the quality department, they were failing financially. And a lot of brands were going through that. Alasis went through that. I mean, arguably, Alasis made the best, biggest, most amazing synthesizer of the time. The Alasis Andromeda A6 is probably why I still love that keyboard. And the cost to make that item was so high that the resale, the purchase, the people who were buying it, they just didn't buy enough of it to make sense. Another brand that went under was Hartman Neuron. The Hartman Neuron was basically a PC with a key bed and a ton of controls. It was basically a computer. And you know, when you look at all the other brands that kind of went under at the time, I mean, Access had the Virus line of things, they all went under. There's quite a few of them that we can go back to. They had to find a way to maintain profitability, and Akai went through that same phase where they kind of went under, and Newmark stepped in and made the purchase. Then in-music went in and, you know, put all of them under the same umbrella. And that may frustrate many people because the choices at that time were, okay, we can continue making the same thing we're making the way we're making it, or we need to make some adjustments so we can be profitable. And they made adjustments to be profitable. We didn't really like all the adjustments they did make, but nonetheless, they had to happen, because if they didn't happen, we wouldn't have progress. We wouldn't have went through these phases. We wouldn't have went through this whole situation where Native Instruments beat them to the punch with the controller scenario, and then Akai had to react to that and make a controller version with the Renaissance and those type of things, and then circle back to the hardware. And if we stayed on the same path and stayed the course, Akai wouldn't even exist today. And that's what a lot of people are missing. A lot of these brands went away because they stayed the course. They held true to what they really felt they should do, instead of looking at the market and saying, hey, we need to make some adjustments. If we don't make these adjustments, we won't exist. And I'll give them credit for that. Is it the path that we all wanted? No. But if they stayed the path we all wanted, they probably wouldn't have found a way to make it profitable. Look at the landscape of the time frame when that shift happened and ask yourself, could they have continued if they stayed the course?